Let the sand in the glass here represent your life. The sand in the top of the glass represents the future. The sand in the bottom of the glass represents the past. Now here's the odd thing about this. You don't know how much sand you have left in the top of the glass. Then I'm going to watch the recording of it every day, twice a day, until the next one comes out. Your life would change. You're not putting on people that has nothing to say. You're bringing the good information to the public. Your broadcast is very important. I hope people understand that. God, I love this. I'm so glad you got us on here, Sashin, because I love sharing it.
Hi, it's Robin Sharma, and you're tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
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 Sashin. Sashin.
Sashin.
Sashin.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on the Millionaire Student Show, where I get the opportunity to pick the minds of this generation's thought leaders, change makers, disruptors, innovators, and inspirations. Dissect their story from the pain they went through, the price they paid, and what their prize looks like today. I formulated the Millionaire Student Self-Development System and Company because this is what I was searching for when I first entered the entrepreneur world at 17 years old. My mission and purpose is to serve you with virtual mentorship to consciously make your clock tick. Please help me welcome today's guest. From dropping out of high school with a resume of dead-end jobs and a future clouded in debt, after he was introduced to self-development at 26 years old, in just a few months, his life spun 180 degrees. In 365 days, he went from making a few $1,000s a year to $175,000 a year to over $1 million a year. He then moved to Chicago to work shoulder to shoulder with his real-life mentor, Earl Nightingale. He's widely considered one of the greatest in the world on the topic of manifestation, the law of attraction, and paradigms. For more than 40 years, he has focused his entire agenda around helping people create lush lives of prosperity, rewarding relationships, and spiritual awareness, in which he teaches people how to understand their hidden abilities to do more, be more, and have more in every area of their life. He's the author of multiple best-selling books such as You Were Born Rich, Contact Capital, The ABCs of Success, and America's Greatest Prosperity Teacher. Without taking the thunder away from today's guest, who was featured in the movie The Secret and was invited on a number of TV shows such as Ellen and Larry King Live. In the 1970s, he founded the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Bob Proctor. Bob, it's truly a pleasure to have you on the Millionaire Student Show. I'm truly excited to dissect the pain you went through in the foundation of your life, the price you paid, and the prize you are experiencing today. And thank you for emotionally, mentally, and virtually being here today.
My pleasure, Sashin.
So I've been studying your work from as early as 2006 when I was introduced to The Secret at 12 years old. And, us having this conversation today is what the law of attraction can truly manifest. I know you and I know your story, but for those who haven't heard the name Bob Proctor before, how did it all begin for you?
It all began, Sashin. I was given this book. This is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. This book has literally fallen apart. I've been reading it every day since the 21st of October in 1961. That probably seems like another age to you.
Definitely.
Long time ago. I was losing. I was going nowhere in a hurry. And I met a man, and he obviously saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And he said, why don't you change your results?
Yeah.
Well, results, I never even thought of results. I didn't even know what he was talking about. And he said, he said, he put an R on a sheet of paper, and then he put 3 letters down beside it, 2 H's and a W. And he said, Bob, let that R represent results, and the H's and the W's, happiness, health, and wealth. Now, he said, do you think I'm a happy guy? And I said, yeah, he seemed pretty happy to me. He said, have you ever seen me sick? And I hadn't. He said, have you ever seen me broke? And again, I hadn't. Well, he said, you've got to be one of the most miserable people I've ever met. And he said, you're always sick and you're always broke. And he was right. I was 26 at the time, Sashin, and I was earning $4,000 a year, and I owed $6,000, and I owed it all over the place. I didn't owe one person, 100 here, 500 there. The idea of getting out of debt never entered my mind. In fact, I never really looked at my results or my life as results. And he said, if you do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Well, I really didn't believe that. But I sensed he did. And I don't know why, because as I say, I was 26. I had never followed direction in my life. I was just going in the wrong direction all the time. But within a year, I was earning about $14,500 a month, and in under 5 years, I had it over $1 million. I started to follow his direction, and I started to read this book. Then I got Earl Nightingale's condensed narration of this book on a record, and I started to listen to it. Everything started to change. Now, he had me do something. He said, I want you to write a goal and put it in your pocket and think about it every day. Now, when you talk about a goal, the only thing I was relating to is soccer or hockey or something like that. I never thought of it as a point in life to work toward. So I put that I wanted $25,000. That would have been like saying I want $1 billion right now. And I kept reading this card. In retrospect, I realized what happened. I stopped thinking of debt and I started to think of earning money. And because I thought about it, I'd start to hear people talking about it. And because I heard people talking about it, I got thinking about it. And I heard men say there's good money cleaning floors. And I said, I'm not proud, I'll clean floors. I started to clean one office session. In less than 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. If somebody had said, how did you do this? I couldn't have answered them. If they said, what are you doing? I would have just said, I'm cleaning offices. But you see, it went much deeper than that, and I couldn't answer it. Now, I was being very irresponsible. I would go down on Park Lane to the Playboy Club and play roulette. I didn't care if I lost the money because I knew where to get it. And because I didn't care if I lost it, I was very rarely losing it. And one day I thought, this is not being very responsible. And so I thought, how the heck did this happen? How did I become so successful? I hadn't gone to school. I'd gone to high school for 2 months. I'd been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I knew that wasn't true. I didn't think I was very smart, and I was earning over $1 million a year. I was raised to believe if you want a good job, you have to go to school. I hadn't gone to school. I didn't have a good job. I owned the whole company. So I started to question all kinds of things. And I made up my mind I was going to find out why I changed. It took me 9.5 years. And when I figured it out, all I wanted to do was teach it. And that's all I've done now. since about 1968. I've actually been teaching it all along, but I didn't realize I wasn't formally teaching it. In 1968, I went to work with Earl Nightingale in Chicago. The Nightingale Conant Corporation were the biggest in the world at the time. They literally started the personal growth movement as we know it today. And I became their vice president of sales. I got an education like you couldn't buy today. So that's where it all started. There's a long story short.
And it was first-hand experience for you, so it wasn't as if you read a book and now you teaching it. No, you actually experienced it first and then you taught it, which is so critical today in the whole world that we're living in. Online, digital, way too many people can read something and then go out there and it could be perceived as if they already achieved it.
You're so right. Listen, 80% of the people that are teaching have never done what they're teaching, which is the probable reason so few people are winning. There's only 3, 4, 5, 6% of the population that are really making things happen. You have people going right through our educational system. They come out with phenomenal degrees and they do nothing. And they're puzzled. They think, how could this happen? I got all this education, I'm so smart, but I'm not earning any money, can't hold a good job. And they're puzzled. See, the part of our mind that gathers information, the part of our mind that school deals with, school gives you a book, and they get you to read the book, and then they ask you questions. If you can answer the questions, they think you've learned it. You haven't learned it at all. You've memorized some of the information, but that's not learning. So we've got all this knowledge in our conscious mind, and it's our subconscious mind that controls the behavior of this body that we're living in to produce the results. So you've got brilliant people that are getting bad results and they don't know why. School does not teach us how to win. As a matter of fact, they program us to stay stuck because they're building on a program, a paradigm that is going to take most people nowhere.
I love the word that you mentioned, knowledge, because school gives us knowledge. It doesn't give us wisdom. We've got to go through real life experiences to formulate that wisdom.
Well, a lot of people think knowledge is power. That's not true. Knowledge is potential power. Napoleon Hill brought that to the surface. And one of the secrets of success is organized information, intelligently directed. That's what we have. We have organized information and we show people how to intelligently direct it. We have, I sat down with a pen in 1973. Our company today operates in 89 different countries. And what we're doing, we're showing people how to take control over their life and lay out a map of how they want to live and then go ahead and do it. And they have to learn how to alter the program in their subconscious mind. See, we've all got a program in our subconscious mind. Just the same, I've got a phone. It's like a computer. Here's another one. I got a pad here. And these are computers. They have programs in them. Well, we've got a biocomputer and we got a program in it. But the people who wrote the code for this program had no idea what the hell they were doing. They did not know that they were literally programming a human being's life. As a result, the human being loses. Most people don't know why we do what we do, why we don't do what we already know how to do. That's what the Proctor Gallagher Institute teaches people to do. I wrote this book in 1984. It's Born Rich. And I had been studying this for around 23 years at the time. It's got phenomenal information in it. Anybody can get it. They can download it. We give it away. Let me show you the information. Me and money. That's where it starts, and that's where people have a problem. They have never learned how to relate to money. They don't understand money. Money goes where it's invited and it stays where it's welcome, but the average person doesn't understand that. The second subject is how much is enough? That's a very important subject. The third subject in here is on image making. Everything we see is nothing but an image expressed. Here's a bottle of water. That was an image in somebody's mind at one time. Who the hell would have ever thought we would be charging more for a bottle of water than we would for the petrol or the car we put in our gas we put in our car? This image, this pad, was nothing but an image in somebody's mind at one time. Well, we get into image making. Then we get into let go and let God. God's an infinite power. God does all the work. You choose, the power within you does the work. We've got to understand how that relationship connects. The next one is on expectant abundance. You're mentioning The Secret. I don't know how well it's known in South Africa, but The Secret has been watched by about 500 million people, and it promotes the law of attraction. Most people that have hear about it, they don't understand. The law of attraction is a secondary law. The law of vibration is the primary law. And you attract to you what you expect. You literally magnetize. You put yourself in a vibration and attract it. Now, the next one is the law of vibration. We teach the law of vibration. Everything in this universe vibrates. We're communicating on a frequency right now. My phone operates on a frequency. This channel's operating on a frequency. That's why we can look at each other and talk to each other, and yet we're on the opposite side of the world because we're on the same frequency. Well, you've got to get on the frequency of the good you desire. But you've got to understand the law of vibration because it operates on frequencies. The next one is the risk taker. I don't know what it's like where you came from, Sashin, but where I came from, we were taught as kids it's better to be safe than sorry. Well, that's a bunch of crap. That's not true. It's not better to be safe than sorry. A person that's playing that game is going to go right through their life, do nothing, and die, and they just had a dull experience in life. You got to step out and take a risk. Get a bet on yourself. You're the surest thing in the world. The next one is the razor's edge. There's a very fine line that separates winning from losing. Now, there's a number of fine lines. One of them is on decision. Do you know, hardly anybody learns how to make a decision because our parents make them for us until we're fairly well grown up. Then we're in the habit of somebody else making a decision. That's why you have people running around all the time saying, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? And the person they're asking doesn't think. I mean, it's a losing battle. The next one is on don't think in reverse. Quit looking backwards. Look at the sand in here represents your life. You cannot take the sand from the bottom of the glass and put it back in the top. Once it's gone, it's gone. Let the dead bury the dead. Thinking in reverse is a losing game. And the last one is vacuum law of prosperity. We've got to create a space for the good that we desire. Now, I wrote that in 1984. But I've been studying every one of those subjects for 36 years since then.
So, Bob, what was it like working directly with Earl Nightingale? Because people read off these individuals, those people who were the foundation of the self-development world. And most importantly, what was the biggest takeaway and inspiration from the relationship you actually developed with him?
Well, the big win was watching him. Watch what he did. Like here, I've got a book here, a book holder. See this? I went to visit Earl Nightingale before I went to work for him. I went to visit him around 1966. And I noticed he had a book holder in his desk. And I said, what is that? He says, it's a book holder. And I said, why do you have it like that? Well, he said, I read those pages. Well, I said, then you got to take it out and change the page. No, he said, I read the same pages probably for a month. And I said, really? I said, why would you do that? Because he said, I want to understand and apply what's on them. Ding, ding, ding. You see, I've had a book holder ever since then. And I've had the same one open. The Soul of the Subject. I've been reading that now for probably 3 or 4 months. It was a phenomenal experience. And I believe there's a great lesson in that for everybody. We want to look for people that have really made it happen in a big way. Do exactly what they tell you. Don't try and change it. You see, the laws for winning, for earning $1 million, for success, they don't change. They're the same now as they were 150 years ago, 500 years ago. Do you know the ancient Babylonians were one of the most successful group of people in the world? The ancient Babylonians had multiple sources of income. That's the secret to success.
Bob, there's definitely people watching in or listening in right now, and they were exactly where you were in life. Uneducated according to the schooling educational system, broke, jobless, in debt. And in 365 days, you went from making, as you mentioned, a few $1,000s a year to $175,000 a year to over $1 million a year. The information was given to you through self-development, exactly how those listening in right now also have access to it. But what was your process of doing versus storing the information without executing?
Well, see, that's the key to the whole thing. It took me 9 years to figure out what I had done. I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know. You see, I was born during the Great Depression, 1934. Everybody was broke. No one had any money. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, the whole world went to war. Second World War broke out. My father, all the fathers, they were gone. They were off in Europe and the South Pacific fighting. And everything was rationed. Now, I mention this because poverty was the name of the game. That's the way everybody was living. Everyone was poor. Poverty consciousness, everybody was complaining about how tough things are. That's the way I grew up. That's the way I was programmed. And then I started to read these books. I started to read this. I started to listen to Earl Nightingale's recordings. And I was absolutely fascinated with it. Scott, bring me that record player, will you please? I had never heard anybody talk like this. So I couldn't stop listening to it. Now today, it's all online. In those days, it was on records. Now, here is a battery-operated record player. I want you to listen to this for a moment. You can see this. Just listen.
Hello, this is Earl Nightingale, and this recording, The Magic Word, is the first of 12 you'll receive in this series titled How You Can Lead the Field in the Modern World. Before we start, I'd like you to know that I'm not going to try to tell you how to live your life. That's none of my business, nor is it anybody else's business. That's your business. Nor is this Lead the Field program a collection of pleasantries, platitudes, or Pollyanna. It is a summation of more than 20 years of research on one subject, and that is, why do some people do so well in life, while so many more do not? And the first thing let's talk about is the magic word. The experts call it the most important word as far as the results we get from life are concerned in this or any other language. And that word is attitude. It is our...
I started to listen to these records. I was so fascinated with what I was hearing, I couldn't stop listening to it. It was all positive. It was all very upbeat. It was all what's good. I loved it. I got addicted to it. Everybody thought I was crazy. They said, Proctor, why do you keep listening to these records? But my life kept changing. I started cleaning offices, and then I started to hire cleaners. I got the cleaners listening to this. I had them setting goals. I had some of the most wealthy cleaners you've ever seen. They ended up buying houses and cars. But we didn't know what we were doing. And then I was reading this book every day. I found the book where Earl Nightingale recorded and condensed it on a record. He condensed and recorded it. And I started listening to that. I have never stopped listening. We went from records to cassettes, from cassettes to CDs, from CDs to online. I literally reprogrammed my mind. I found out after 9.5 years, what I had done was reprogram my subconscious mind. You've got a paradigm there, a program, and it's controlling your behavior. And if you don't change the program, nothing you're going to do will change. A lot of the motivation speakers, that ain't going to work. Are they good? Yeah, they get you excited and they get you going, and I'm going to go do this. Yet nothing happens. What the hell's the matter? If you don't change the programming in your subconscious mind, nothing happens. Your world, your outside world, is a reflection of what's going on inside. Listen, I took in the cleaning business, like that, I was up over $1 million. I mentioned earlier, I wrote down, I'll build a company that operates all over the world. This company, Proctor Gallagher Institute, we operate right now in 89 countries. I built my own television. This is my own station. This is literally a television station I'm in. We broadcast a seminar here just 3 or 4 weeks ago. We went into 119 countries to a few thousand people. We teach this all over the world. I don't know anyone that's teaching it as well as we do. This is absolutely incredible information. And anybody can learn it, but you've got to learn it. If you think you can just go out with a magic formula, there's no magic formula. He said right here, the magic word is attitude, but there's no magic formula. There is a process, and if you follow the process, you win. And if you don't follow the process, you lose. It's that simple. And most people don't follow the process. School teaches us the wrong way. School does not teach us anything about our higher faculties.
Bob, you spent the past few decades studying and understanding the mind, as you mentioned, and personally, I got the opportunity to unlearn and unlock my full potential of my mind at 8 years old. Let's start off from a child's perspective. So whether a parent is listening in or a child is listening in, how important is it to formulate the right paradigm as well as encode your subconscious mind with the right thoughts?
Well, it's critical. It's critical. Otherwise, whatever's going into that child's mind is going to determine where they're going to go in life. Every night, I started to study this before my children were born. I have never made a decision for my kids. Never. They make the decisions. That's one of the problems. People leave home and they don't know how to make a decision. I laid down or sat down beside the bed with my kids when they were going to sleep, when they were really small. I would put my hand on them. I would make a physical connection. And as they were drifting off to sleep, I'd get them to repeat things to me. I'll wake up feeling wonderful with a smile on my face. Every night. Kids all had great attitudes. They all woke up. I was very consciously aware. Everything I was doing, I was programming their subconscious mind. We've got to understand this. We've got to understand at birth, the subconscious mind is wide open. It's like a cup. In fact, Madame Montessori talked about that. She said, we send kids to school and we treat it like the kids are a cup, and we want the school to fill the cup up with knowledge. She said, the beautiful truth is the cup's already full. What we want school to do is show them how to draw it out. You see, we've all got deep reservoirs of talent and ability within us. Our spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within you and within me. The only difference in you and me is our results, what we look like, what we do. Outside of that, we are exactly the same. Everybody all over the world is exactly the same. They have a conscious mind, a subconscious, and a body. And the mind is controlling the body. The body is an instrument of the mind. I'm going to be running a class. I'm going to teach this, a master class, for 2 hours every week for 6 months. And I've been studying now for 36 years since I wrote it. Everyone will know how to change this by the end of that class, because I'm going to work every week for 6 months. I believe, regardless of where a person is, I don't care if you've got a great education, formal school education, but you're not earning any money, you haven't got a good job, or you can't get your business going, you can still win. I don't care, maybe you don't have any education and you're sick and you're broke, you can still win. Every day, here's what we want to look at. Let the sand in the glass here represent your life. The sand in the top of the glass represents the future. The sand in the bottom of the glass represents the past. Now, here's the odd thing about this. You don't know how much sand you have left in the top of the glass. You may think you have a lot, and you might only have a little. You may think you only have a little, and you might have a lot. We don't know. This is gone. You can do nothing about it. The only thing you can do is what's right here, right now, right in the center. If a person's listening to me right now, they can make a decision to change right now. Just make the decision. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know where the money's going to come from. You don't have to know where the resources are coming from. Just make a decision and then decide what you want. And if you make a decision, I'm going to do that, you will figure out how to get there. You will attract the money. You'll attract the help. Contact us. Our company will show you how. We're all over the world. I've been to South Africa. I've run seminars in South Africa, Cape Town, Johannesburg, years ago. There is nowhere in the world that I haven't worked. But now, we operate out of this, our own studio, and we broadcast all over the world. We can teach anyone how to do anything they want. You see, this is an orderly universe we are a part of, and we've got phenomenal mental faculties. I want you to think of this, Sashin. We are the only creature on the planet that's totally disoriented in our environment. We're the only creature, I'll repeat that. You and I, people, we're the only creatures on the planet that's totally disoriented in our environment. All of the other little creatures out there are completely at home in their environment. They blend in. They operate by instinct, which is perfect. Instinct is perfect. We had instinct removed, and we had higher faculties put in their place. And we've been taught virtually nothing about those higher faculties. You have perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These are phenomenal mental tools. When you learn how to use them, everything in your life changes. That's what I was taught, and that's what we teach.
Hey, I want you to take a quick split second of your time. All I want you to do is hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I want to update you when I have a next iconic guest on my show. Stay in student mode.
Hello there and welcome. This is Bob Proctor, and you're tuning in to the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
So Bob, a paradigm, and I want to make this clear for those who don't understand what a paradigm is, and I know you'll go into detail, but a paradigm is because I've been studying your work. It's like music to my ears. A paradigm is a multitude of habits, and it takes 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to turn that habit into a lifestyle, and then over 10,000 hours to go out there and make it a value in your life. So let's say a child becomes an adult with the wrong paradigms. How does one unlearn to relearn?
Well, first of all, almost all people grow up with the wrong paradigm. And I don't necessarily think you unlearn. You do. What you're really doing is you're replacing one thing with another. You're realizing the importance of attitude, like on that magic word that I was showing you on that recording. So you're really starting to understand attitude is really the key to everything. Doesn't matter what happens outside. It's what's happening inside. It's like I was saying, we're the only creature that's totally disoriented. That's because with all these higher faculties, we can create our own environment. So you create the new paradigm exactly the way the old one was created, through repetition. Listening to the same recordings over and over and over again. See, it doesn't make sense to read the same book over and over again to most people. They'll say, well, I've already read the book. I know what's in it. I passed the exam. Why would I read it again? Because you don't understand and apply what's in it. Yet through repetition of impressing it over and over, we automatically start doing it. Winning to me is a habit. Earning money is a habit. It's a game. I earn millions of dollars. It's a game. It used to be an absolute struggle to earn anything because I was always broke. I didn't understand money. I reprogrammed my paradigm. So I don't know you unlearn, although that is a term that's used. I think Buckminster Fuller used that. He said the first thing he does is de-educate his architects. So what we're doing is we're loading our mind up with new information, which renders the old information useless. And the new information takes over. So you're actually building a new paradigm. That's what I had done. That's what I was trying to figure out when I was living in England at the time. And I was trying to figure out, how did I change so dramatically? I mean, I was struggling just to get by. I couldn't get a couple of dollars get some petrol in the car. And here I am earning all kinds of money. And I couldn't really figure it out. So I thought, somebody has to know. I'm going to figure it out. Well, it took me 9.5 years. But when I figured it out, all I wanted to do was teach it. So the answer to your question is, if you're reading a book, are you doing what's in the book? Forget about if you read it. Are you doing it? Do you really understand what the author was saying? And are you doing it? No amount of reading or memorizing will make a person successful. It's the understanding and application of wise thoughts that count. That's why Solomon, great wealthy king, he said, in all you're getting, get understanding. You see, the people that keep tuning into your show, how long's it on for? An hour. How often are you on? Every week? What?
Yeah, once a week.
If a person said, I'm going to watch this for 1 hour, then I'm going to watch the recording of it every day, twice a day, until the next one comes out, their life would change. You're not putting on people that has nothing to say. You're bringing people on here, like I have spent since 1961, every day studying this subject. I'm addicted to it. I love it. I have trained and mentored literally thousands of people. We have coaching programs where we train people how to really put this to work. I would imagine the other people you bring on are equally as qualified in their field. So if a person, see, they listen to it once and say, that was really interesting. Away they go, do the same thing. No, wait a minute, come back. Listen to it again and again and again. See, that doesn't make sense, but that's how you build a new paradigm.
And it's so crazy that when a song comes on, when a song plays on a radio, people know the lyrics front to back to front. They could sing every word of it. But when it's time to watch an inspirational video, read a book, it's not habitual to them.
Good example. Great example. We all know the lyrics for songs. I can give you the lyrics for songs that were popular in the 50s, you know. And that's why it's the repetition. If in sports, repetition's absolutely essential. If you're in any sport, I don't care what it is. If you're involved in music, let's suppose you're playing a trumpet, you will hit that same key, thousands of times. Repetition. It's programming the mind. Well, we want to do that with earning money. We have a new company that we formed. It's called MSI Connect. And people join it. And we teach them how to set up multiple sources of income. And we connect you with other people. So let's say, whereabouts you're in South Africa, whereabouts in South
Johannesburg.
Africa? Okay, so let's say you're in Johannesburg and I'm in Toronto and we connect. And then maybe the two of us form a joint venture on something and somebody else tunes in from London, England. We bring him in. Now we got three of us. Then there's somebody else from Yokohama. Then we bring them in. It's a global thing from all over the world. So you get connecting with people. You set up joint ventures. You think, geez, that's good. Could I be an affiliate for that? Sure, you could. You should definitely, Sashin, you should definitely be in this. You want to talk to Tommy Collier about it. He's the executive director of the MSI Connect. Set up multiple sources of income. It's like a game. And the money just keeps rolling in. Well, the money should be used properly. Money isn't just to pile up. Money enables you to extend the service you render far beyond your own presence. Like our company has been building schools in Africa, for the last 5 years. We build a new school every week over there, every 2 weeks. Thousands of kids getting educated. We pay for it. That's how you use money. Money is used to extend the service that you render far beyond your own presence.
So you mentioned the subconscious mind being a cup, and then the conscious mind being above that, which is the intellectual mind, which is the now, what we consume in the now, such as social media, TV, radio, circle of influence. So how important is it for us to audit the information we absorb? Because right now we're living in this world with the news, with the negativity, with everything being on our phone, social media. We don't audit. People don't audit the information they consume. They don't have a password for their mind.
Well, you see, a lot of the information that you're picking up is useless information. Anybody that spends a lot of time watching the news is really wasting their life because it's mostly bad news. You don't get a lot of good news. Get on the blogs or something like that, you're getting into good news, but the broadcast stations are really putting out bad news. People are attracted to bad news because their subconscious mind is programmed, it resonates with it. An individual has to consciously and deliberately create the flow of the right information coming to them. I started doing that with records. Then I went to cassettes, then I went to CDs, and then online and reading. You'll see the books. I've got a library behind me. I've got thousands of books. And yet, when I was 26, this is the first book I read. This is the first book I ever read. I never read a book before this. So it's a matter of consciously and deliberately going out and sourcing the right information, plugging into the right information. Your company, you are putting out the right information. My company puts out the right information. Now, we actually show people, we train people on how to teach this. We have consultants that we put in business. We had a woman, we just finished doing a 3-day training with over 300 of our consultants in 33 countries, right here from this studio over the past 3 days. We had one woman, one consultant, had earned $1 million already this year. And she had never earned over $100,000 a year before. And she's a mature woman. Now, we've got different people. That is not an exception, but we've got other people like that. We train people to teach this. We train people to sell it. We train people how to change the paradigm. We're a pretty mature company. We've been in business now for 59 years. I believe people should plug in, find out what we are doing. They should stay plugged into you because you're a good source. See, you're like the Nightingale Conants of the 50s and the 60s. You're bringing the good information to the public. Your broadcast is very important. I hope people understand that.
So every one of us have an image of ourselves. How should one build a self-image and a cybernetic mechanism? And for those who have just got lost by that terminology, could you also explain that as well?
Sure. The cybernetic mechanism, you could say it's the same as a paradigm. It's the same as an automatic pilot on an airplane. If the plane goes off course, the cybernetic mechanism brings it right back on course. If we got a cybernetic mechanism in our self-image and it keeps us going one track, and if we make a bit of an improvement, boom, it'll bring us right back again. We go to break a habit, a bad habit, boom, it'll bring us right back again. It's like a person trying to lose weight. They get on a diet for a day and then they're back off the diet again. They are kept on a track. That's what cybernetics is. It's the science and controlling communication in the animal and some machine. It's how our subconscious mind works. Well, the self-image is the picture we hold of ourselves. It's how Bob sees Bob. It's how Sashin sees Sashin. Everyone has their own self-image. Now, I used to have a real bad self-image. I didn't like me. How the hell did I get it? Somebody else built the image in me. They give me the wrong information about me. You're a bad boy. You never learn anything. You're just stupid like your father. And that's going in over and over and over again. When I started to understand this, what you're talking about comes from a book, Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It's a great book. It's the science and control and communication in the animal and some machines. That's what cybernetics is. But that book is an excellent book, and it helps you understand that we have a self-image. See, Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a cosmetic surgeon, and maybe a person had a big scar on their face, or they might have had a big nose or something they wanted changed. And they go to the plastic surgeon, and they'd have the scar removed or the nose changed. And he noticed that regardless of how successful the operation was, there was no change in their personality. But every now and then, he changed the scar, their whole personality changed. Not only was the successful scar removed, their personality changed. And that led him to postulate that we have an inner self-image. We not only have the outer one, that's the one I see, that's the one you see in me coming forward, but we also have an inner image, one that only we see. Nobody else sees it, just us, our inner self-image. Well, that inner self-image dictates what we do in our life. It controls our results. And the more we understand that, the better off we're going to be. See, I had to change my image of me. I had to see myself as a successful person. I saw myself as a loser. Hell, I'd never wanted anything. How could I think of myself as a winner? I got bad marks in school. I got kicked out in the second month of high school. I didn't go to school. Never had a half-decent job. I mean, how could I have a good picture of that? And the guy that taught me said, that doesn't matter. That's in the past. Forget it. Build the picture of the person you want to be. And if somebody's watching this right now and you don't particularly like yourself, you don't like your life, take a pen and sit down and write out in the present tense, I am so happy and grateful now that I am an absolute success in everything I do. I am letting go of the past and I am creating a brand new future. I am going to study every day the laws governing success, and I will master it within the next year or two. If a person wrote that out and then rewrite it every day, 10 times, write it over and over and over again, they're going to program that into their subconscious mind. Now, at first they'll think, well, that's a lie. That's okay. Tell yourself a lie. If you tell yourself a lie often enough, you'll start to believe it. Hitler proved that back in 1938-39. He told the people a lie. He told them so often in his charismatic way, so often they believed him. There's people today that still believe Hitler was right. Hitler couldn't have been more wrong. He was a very bad man, but he convinced people of a lie. Well, let's convince ourselves of a lie. Let's write out how we want to be. We'll say, but that's not true. Read it anyway. Rewrite it anyway. I am so happy and grateful now that I am an absolute success. Everything I do turns out really well because I give it everything I've got. I am studying the laws and the rules for success every day. Over the next 2 years, I will transform every aspect of my life. I will be happy, healthy, and wealthy because that's the way I see me now. If they did that, that's what would happen. But they got to keep reading, write it over and over and over again.
Bob, the question, who am I? Most people don't know who they truly are. And that's why they aren't, or they don't have that purpose and passion, or even know what their vision is for their life. How can someone define who they are?
Well, there's only two sources of reference to go to. One's science and the other's theology. If you go to theology, there's only a half a dozen basic religions. Now, I know down in California, they've got 500 religions because everybody starts their own. But there's only about 5 or 6 basic religions. They all teach essentially the same thing. You are a spiritual being. We are God's highest form of creation. Now, you go to science and ask the science will tell you you are energy. Your body changes at the rate of about 50 million cells per second. It's going through a constant evolution of change. The energy leaving your body can be photographed. Semyon Kurlian, way back in the 40s or 30s, perfected a form of photography where he can photograph mass. He will photograph the energy leaving from your body. You are a spiritual being. You are having a physical experience. A lot of people think from time to time they have a spiritual experience. No. You don't have a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being. You have a physical experience. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within you, and that perfection is forever seeking expression with and through you. So who am I? I am God's highest form of creation. I am a spiritual being. I have creative faculties, and I can create. I am a creative being. I have awesome powers. Listen, look at everything we see around us. I don't care what you're looking at. Microphone, I have a little clock. Here I have a timer. Here I've got a phone, a pen. Everything's made from energy. And everything was nothing but an image in somebody's mind at one time. They create the image, and then from the image, they create the thing. Andrew Carnegie, who was Napoleon Hill's mentor, he said, any idea that is held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, begins at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Whatever ideas you're holding in your mind, you create them. You are a creative being. I am a creative being.
Talk to me about the 11 forgotten laws that fill in the missing components of the conventional understanding of the law of attraction.
Well, the 11 forgotten laws, that was something that Mary Morrissey and I made. there's only a basic group of laws, and all the rest are secondary laws. And you can go on talking about the secondary laws forever. Like attraction is a secondary law. The basic law is the law of vibration. When you think, you set up a vibration. You're a mass of energy and a high speed of vibration. And you're operating on a frequency. And the only thing you can attract to you is the thing you're vibrating in harmony with. We teach the laws, we advertise. You'll often see we advertise frequently about the science of getting rich. Well, the science of getting rich we teach what the laws are in the science of getting rich. It's a program that's online. People can purchase it and study it. It's a phenomenal program, the science of getting rich. It's an incredible program. We could set you up as an affiliate. You sell it because you could help people with that, help a lot of people. And that's the way we work. So what we've got to do is we've got to get into these basic laws, Sashin, and understand them. Dr. Wernher von Braun, who was the rocket scientist, he was the father of the space program, actually. He said that the natural laws of this program, of this universe, are so precise that we don't have any difficulty building spaceships, sending spaceships to the moon, and time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. He also, keep in mind, science and theology, for a long time, we figured were antagonistic. Well, they've changed. I think one looks at the cause and the other looks at the effect. He said after studying the spectacular mysteries of the cosmos his entire life, he'd come to the firm belief in the existence of God. He said these laws are so precise, they had to be set by somebody. Well, you see, once we understand we're spiritual beings, we operate by law, we can create the world we want. That's not a myth. That's not some wild idea. I have created the world I want. I wanted to teach this all over the world. I'm doing that right now. I've been doing it for years. Whatever you want, if you write it out, we'll show you how to get it. I'm going to tell you, anybody that's really listening, that wants, without question, to really learn something, they want to get into our master class on this. It's 6 months. You will learn something in the master class that would make a doctor's degree in commerce and finance look like a game. You want to get into the MSI Connect. Sashin, talk to Tommy about it, because it's a phenomenal place to go. We teach people how to set up multiple sources of income there. Wealthy people historically have always had multiple sources of income. You don't have one. You have all kinds. You can earn more money when you're sleeping than you can spend when you're awake. Now, that sounds like fantasy to the average person. They should stop and listen to what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. I demonstrated what I'm talking about. I started with nothing. I can write a check for $1 million. That didn't happen by accident. You can. Anybody can. We'll show you how.
Bob, what are a few affirmations that you personally recite to yourself daily, and how can the listeners start writing the affirmations today? So I want to take you back to when I was 19 years old. I made my first 6 figures, 21 7 figures, and 24 8 figures. But the frequency that you're on right now, I'm right next to you. I've been studying your stuff for 8 years. What are some things that you say to yourself?
I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. And I use the money for good. I give a lot of money away. I believe that money enables us to extend the service we render far beyond our own presence. Here, wait a minute. See this folder? Every morning, 5:30, I'm in here. I write this out. There's a new page every day, every day. I'm so happy and grateful now that the total PGI sales are at a number, and I'm not going to tell you what the number is, a week with 1 million of that coming from online sales every week. I will write this affirmation 3 times a day and then read it out loud until the goal is reached. Thank you, God. I do that. I write it out and I read it 3 times, and then I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. When I've got it written, then I record it on my phone. And here's a phone here. I record it on my phone and I text it to Sandy Gallagher, my business partner. Now, she does the same thing. She's over on the west coast of the country, and she texts it to me. Every morning, 5:30, like clockwork, we write down exactly what we're working on right now. And I write it over and over and over. I've got all these pages. I've been doing this every day since the May the 7th. May the 7th. Now, up until May the 6th, I was writing another one, and I had written it every day for 366 days for a year. Last year had a leap year, so we had an extra day. I did it every day. And I was writing with my left hand, although I'm right-handed. I wrote with my left hand because that was teaching me just how difficult it is to change a paradigm. And if you stay with it, you can do it.
You say we are not made for work, but work is made for us. Most people get this wrong. Can you elaborate on it?
Oh, sure. You see, most people, I'll give you an example. I met a doctor in a seminar that told me he was going to quit being a doctor. I said, why are you going to quit? Well, I said, the medical profession's all messed up. He said, we got to put in more time to earn less money. And I said, well, why did you become a doctor? Well, he said, because I love it. Well, I said, it shouldn't matter if you're earning anything then if you're doing what you love. I said, you know where your problem is, Doc? You think you go to work to earn money. You don't go to work for earning money. See, there's 2 forms of income in life. One is psychic. The other is material. The material income is the money we earn to provide what we want. The psychic income is the satisfaction we get from how we spend our days. So what we should do is find work that we love doing. I love what I'm doing. I love it. And the fact that I can get paid for it is a plus. I would do it if I wasn't getting paid for it. You see, our work is made for us. It's how we get our satisfaction. It's what keeps us alive. It's what causes us to grow. When people retire, bang, right after that, they usually die. You got to have a reason for living. You got to find what you love doing and dedicate your life to it. Work is made for us. Our satisfaction comes from our work. You provide service to earn money. While I was sleeping last night, I was providing service because I set up a company that has a system that was providing service on the other side of the world while I'm sleeping. Ka-ching, the money was coming in from the other side of the world. Anybody can do that. That's what we teach people. That's what MSI Connect is all about. You should get Tommy Collier talking to you about it sometime. That's what our seminars are all about. And we're running a master class at You Were Born Rich. See, the truth is, everybody's born rich. Most people are just short of money. You got deep reservoirs of talent and ability within you. God, I love this. I'm so glad you got us on here, Sashin, because I love sharing it.
Bob, my first business at 18 years old was in direct sales, which is network marketing. And although I went through a lot of rejection whilst I had no credibility, over 8 years, I added $1 billion in sales to the company. What is your opinion on the industry of network marketing and direct sales?
If I wasn't doing what I'm doing, if my business wasn't as mature as it is, because I've been in it forever, I would be in network marketing. I think network marketing is the greatest idea that's ever come down the road. Now, I say that, I'm not just trying to fluff something up. I've been around network marketing since it started. You see, I was in the cleaning business when DeVos and Vandel started Amway. And they were a part of another little herbal company out of California. But I've been around network marketing since it started. And I think it's probably one of the greatest ideas that have ever come down the road. Now, there's a lot of good network marketing companies. There's some that probably aren't very strong, but most of them are pretty good. If a person's going into network marketing, the key to it, don't sign with anybody. Don't sign with your brother-in-law or the next door neighbor because they're your friend. Find someone who is really doing well and say, if I sign up under you, will you tell me what to do and then help me do it? Pick a great sponsor. See, I see network marketing is where you're building an organization through which products flow. That's what it is. That's what network marketing is. I think it's one of the greatest things that was ever thought of.
In closing up with the last few questions, today, what keeps you motivated at this age, Bob?
Same thing kept me motivated when I was 26. My goals, where I'm going, what I'm going to do. 26, 86 doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference. My mind works the same way. I have goals. I've got exciting goals, and I'm making them happen. And I work with some of the neatest people in the world. You know, you were saying you started at 8 years old. Well, there's a guy running this whole studio that started watching The Secret when he was 13. You ought to have a talk to him someday. He set a goal of working with me. He was living in Manchester, England.
I watched that in a video.
And here he is now running this studio.
So you said 5:30 a.m. You wake up, you get to the office, you write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I... What else do you do before 10 a.m.? What other rituals have you made habitual to your life?
Well, hold on. I've got lessons here. See these lessons? These are out of books. I keep reading these. Same lesson. Here, I'll read one to you. Determined imagination, thinking from the end, is the beginning of all miracles. The future must become the present in the imagination of the one who would wisely and consciously create circumstance. We must translate vision into being, thinking of into thinking from. Imagination must center itself in some state, then view the world from that state. Thinking from the end is an intense perception of the world of fulfilled desire. I read these over and over again. It's all great teachings from a way back, 100 years old.
This is a trademark question before I wrap up that I ask every one of my guests. What does self-talk sound like with Bob Proctor?
Pretty damn interesting. It's pretty interesting. I'm talking about what we're going to do, how we can improve this, how we can improve that. Who should I work with on this? Who should I work with on that? I'm planning. My self-talk's going on there all the time. And self-talk is vitally important. You know, a lot of people, God, if they could just, if friends talk to them the way they talk to themselves, they'd probably stay away from their friends. Self-talk is very important. Mine is really interesting.
Bob, thank you so much for your valuable time, experiences, and wisdom. Where can people follow and connect with you?
Just go to bobproctor.com. They'll find me online. I'm sure that's where they go. Go to proctorgallagher.com. But if you just look up bobproctor.com, that'll take you, I'm sure that'll take you to where you have to go.
Cool. Thank you so much, Bob. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Sashin. Been a pleasure.